Hello, welcome to my channel where we have just told Christine that the live action Grinch had a love interest.
Honestly, the poor Grinch, he goes in there with his ideological principles in order, and they freaking indoctrinate him. He's a lost hero.
I think it was the small child who gave him unconditional love
and capitalism.
And that too.
What would Karl Marx say?
Well, I don't know. I feel like they probably had to have a very socialist Christmas when he.
Hey, Margaret, you're live. In case you wanted to know, you're live.
What?
You're live.
Oh yeah. Look at that.
Oh hey, I should post the link.
Do you look at my?
That's probably a good idea.
That is. Can somebody post it in the Discord? Because
It's Briar when she stood like a little circus bear. I'll post the link in the Discord.
Thank you.
How's everyone doing tonight?
I'm doing great. I'm like super energetic, and I don't know why.
Can I have some of your energy?
Sure. Very well.
I woke up this morning and I went jogging and I was doing good. And then about 11 a.m., we switched from a bones day to a no bones day.
It was
Stop it with that dumb fucking pug.
Definitely a no bones day.
I was just like, we were doing so. I literally got through half of my work in like 2 hours.
I think I did too.
And then my brain was like, bye. So. Anyways, we are waiting for one more host to wrap a few things up. So let us say hello.
Today.
Hey, Christine, did you know you were the first person to comment? Okay, just making sure that you were aware of that. Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, Liz. We got Liz. We've got Beth. Hey, Bree, you're here.
No way.
And we've got Anne Marie, who was very nice, even though I didn't see her message for like 6 months. Whoops. Anyways, so we're gonna give it a few more minutes. How did we do this month?
Not well.
Oh, hey, Carrie's here too.
It took me 2 weeks to read a 374-page book.
I read 15 books in October, so
I read like 6. It was not.
But you were like doing stuff. You went and got engaged.
That's true.
And had a life. I read like a book a day for a few days there because I would just finish work and read while I played Civ 6.
See, whereas I have no excuse, and I just didn't. Like, I just couldn't.
I mean, you don't get to goof off at work because you actually have to be vigilant over tiny humans.
I can listen to audiobooks while I work. I have
I can too, but I was finding myself like just watching YouTube videos.
But you did like opening of your restaurant and stuff. Like you did a lot last month.
I mean, yeah, I guess so.
You really did.
You did.
Really just sat here and
I feel like
posts
every single day I turned around and you were doing something new.
You're like just after this opening, and then there would be another opening next week.
We had one today. We have one Friday. I'm not going to either one of those. I'm not driving to St. George when I have to drive to Boise this weekend.
Now that seems reasonable, Brianna.
We all have to have limits, boundaries.
I think I finished 4 books last month. 2 of them on the last day of the month.
I finished one on the 30th and one on the 1st. Technically, it was a little bit into the 1st, but I didn't go to bed. So
if you hadn't slept, it's not the next day yet.
My thing is as long as I finished it before I filmed my wrap up, it still counts.
Hang on, I need to confirm what I think I just discovered with my own reading.
I truly was at the point with one of my books that I was like, if I finish this on the 1st, we're just going to count it as a 31st because I have 20 minutes left and I don't know if I'm going to get through them before I have to go to bed.
That's definitely how time works in all other circumstances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My thing is that's how it works. Like, other than the group book, like I was pretty vigilant about being like, no,
it was not the group book.
Right. I was like, I have to finish this one on the 31st, which I finished that one on the 30th. But other than that, I was like, if it's a little bit into the 1st, it's
I
I
finished the
think-
group book a month ago today, so we're a little rusty on the events.
I finished the group book at like 11:30 or 11:40.
Yeah, I was about 11 o'clock. Okay, so I finished. There were 2 books that I started prior to this month that I finished this month on the 2nd and 3rd of this month.
I have
But
a whole
then-
pile of those over there.
But then I have 1, 2, 3, 4 books that I started and finished within the month.
Hey, Michelle. We
So-
are just
Take that
checking
as you
in
will.
right now.
It's okay. This was just not my month to do anything because I did nothing.
I am sorry. Well, I mean, the good news, haven't you read next month or this month's group book
Nope.
previously? No? Okay, never mind. I thought you had.
I got like 20 minutes into Black Widow. We had a very long day today, so
Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, Soren.
Hi, Soren.
Yeah, I feel that. I don't, not for the same reasons, but I had that starting at about 11. So. Oh, dang. I should have brought my cookies. I'd ask my parents to bring them upstairs, but then that would mean they know where my cookies are.
Fair.
I still feel the need sometimes to hide things that I'm not supposed to eat.
I don't have to do that anymore. I live alone.
That, and also if certain members of my family know where the cookies are,
Then I'll eat them.
there will be no cookies.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
that
a
was,
me
that
thing.
was me and my dad. I would hide stuff because he would eat it.
Like
Oh.
me and my dad will get stuff and we'll just put it somewhere where it's out of the way.
Mhm.
So, anyways, how did we do this month as far as Avengers go? Did we finish any mission logs? Anyone in the chat, if you want to join in,
So
tell us
I
if you finished.
finished. Well, I'm done everybody except the November people, so I finished all the October people in October.
aren't
God, I wish I was you.
You can all
What did you
keep
say,
hating
Brianna?
me, but hate the player and the game because you made the game. All right.
I know I finished Sif's board.
Nice.
I finished Gamora.
And
And
I don't
Doctor
think I
Strange.
finished any mission logs this month.
I know I'm super close to
Yeah.
Elena, I think. I think the last one.
okay. Listen, how about we do one at a time?
No.
No.
Black Panther was the most recent one, and that was last one.
Yeah.
What is this other book?
Yeah, I finished 3.
I got 2 off of. Oh, I forgot that came out last week.
What?
All the Feels by Olivia Dade.
Oh yeah, I need to read it.
Oh yeah.
I still need to order it. I made a cart on Book Depository, and I never actually.
Oh
Nice.
shoot!
It's a
I
bit.
still need to like order it. But is
I
it
didn't
ever
order it.
good though?
I still need to finish it. I'm only
I
halfway
have
through.
finished half of Yelena's prompts. And then I was supposed to finish a whole bunch of like other Avengers mission logs, and I failed. So we'll see, because I may have read some stuff that I was able to use. I still need to read a freaking Viking book for Thor, and I'm halfway through one, and then the library took it back. So
Oh, I definitely.
Oh,
used
which
that.
one is that?
wait,
'Cause
what?
I haven't finished my Thor one yet.
I'm sorry, I totally lost the train of the conversation. It took me a minute to come back. It's Sky in the Deep, which, like, if you're wanting an angsty enemies to lovers, I feel like it's gonna work real well for me.
Yeah,
But I need to get
Yeah.
the
That's
audio book
from
back.
That's a good-
Adrian something.
that's a
I
good
think
move to
it's
go into that.
Adrian Young.
I think it's on
Okay.
Hulu, maybe.
Well, we're
I
gonna
was
find
also
out.
looking
'Cause
at
I'm
that
gonna
one.
go
I was
It's not
looking at
bad. It
that
was like a
one
3-star
by,
for me, but just because it didn't do anything like super amazing, it was just like, and then it was fun to read. So if you go into it with like that kind of expectation, then you'll probably enjoy it.
They have book 2 or her other book. What were you saying, Michelle?
I was looking at that one by Trisha Levenseller.
Oh yeah.
That one's a Viking
gonna-
one too, right?
I'm gonna need you to be more
Yeah.
specific.
She has a Viking one that came out like this year.
Yeah, it's like I can't remember what it's called. It's like Daughters of something.
It's the one with the weapons on the cover, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I know which one you're talking about. I might, if that's a Viking inspired, I might have to check that out instead because I'm interested in that one.
I used a power to not do that, and then
Oh,
immediately
yeah.
accidentally read a Viking book.
Oh no.
Oh wait, no, God,
I could just pick up a Thor comic. So
You could.
That's true.
anyways, okay, what we've got. Okay, so Liz is finished all but November's Avengers.
That's good. I'd be really impressed if
Bring
you
it.
did them.
Beth has everybody but Okoye.
How do you
Well,
already
that's a
have
tragedy. Yes, Liz, I can't believe that was the other book I was supposed to get when I went to get Daughter of the Deep. I completely forgot about it.
I will say it's not as good as Spoiler.
I don't.
No.
I still have to put them all in this journal.
Like it's still good, but it's not as good.
Okay.
It's sitting at like a four.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna go get it anyways because I enjoy it and I don't have any room for any contemporaries on my shelf, so why not?
Seems about right.
I don't have room for you, but I want to.
I came up with a way to get rid of books that I don't want to just donate, and I'm very excited about it.
You're gonna have to share that at some point because I have books that I do not want to donate. They're perfectly good books, but I really considered just sticking Twilight in my recycling bin.
Oh no, these are like ones that are too good to donate.
Oh, okay.
Like because we don't have a half price books,
Okay.
and so like I try like in order to get money for them.
Okay.
I'm like,
Oh, I
this
also
is
need to know that
random
too.
book, but I gave it 3 stars and I don't want to keep it on my shelf.
Okay, so Beth used Gamora's Power and Thunder to finish Jackson Mantis.
Nice.
Yeah, I have a few books that were made in my more questionable. The purchases were made in my more questionable days, and I'm just like, I don't want other people to read these,
Oh no, I just threw those away.
but I don't know what to do with them.
I
just
have
threw
that
those
horrible book from 1940 that I feel like is a historic relic, so I can't burn it. But I wouldn't curse anyone with that either. It's in my possession now.
You should just.
Why does it sound like this is the beginning of a horror movie?
That's how it felt.
You
You
should
should tear it up and make some sort of like DIY project with the pages.
you should make
Just
a
don't
journal.
read from it out
Make
loud.
paper
I
flowers.
don't know, you might have the Necronomicon.
Yeah.
You're right. You know, it's pretty bad.
Use it as paper mache.
What if it won't be destroyed? You know, like what if I axe it and just nothing happens? It won't burn.
Or like comes back to you.
If that happens, Christine, I feel like you might need to donate it to science.
I think if that
What an
happens, I'll
exorcist.
embrace the horror. I saw a horror movie this weekend.
Why?
Which one?
Because it was October 30th and we were already high. And so we went
Terrible.
we went to the 10:15 p.m. showing of the new Halloween movie.
That's
And
the worst combination.
and boy was it funny.
Have you slept yet?
I mean,
I had a coworker that went to see it, and she was like, "It wasn't even scary."
Okay,
Everyone
so I'd never seen a Halloween movie before, and this is like the 18th. So I had no fucking idea what was going on. And I didn't realize that there was all this lore behind him being unkillable. So I'm just watching it, and he gets fucking pitchforked through the back. And I'm like, they got him. And then he just gets up and starts killing again. And I'm like, oh, he can't be stopped. Then just like, I have to be okay with everyone's going to die. So once I get that place in my head, I began to think like, okay, well, what happens when he's done with this town? And then I
Except
just kept
Jamie Lee
thinking about it.
Curtis.
I'm like, Michael Myers is going to solve global warming. That's what he's here for.
I'm glad that's the conclusion you came to.
I also at one point went, bah! And Briar did not even flinch. She was just like,
You're fine,
you're
Mom.
fine. Like,
Well, here's what I think. I think that service dogs, at least in my opinion, they just stop working after 10 p.m. They're like, it's bedtime.
It's true. She didn't even beg for popcorn. She was pretty asleep.
That's
I
funny.
take Doyle to a nighttime movie. No, he's like, he snores in the movie.
Well, usually Briar, if I go with my friend Emma's like bad about giving Briar whatever she wants if Briar looks at her a certain way. So Briar knows this, right? And every once in a while she'll just like slowly inch away from me and she'll end up with her head between Emma's legs, like. But she didn't do that this time, so she must have. You might be right.
That's funny. All right, speaking of movies,
it was after retrieving all day.
Yeah, that's
speaking
true.
of movies, we have a couple to talk about.
We're only talking about Halloween. I don't know.
Starting with
about the gay icon that is Yelena. I mean, Black Widow.
yes, yeah, we're gonna talk about Black Widow.
I love you, Christine.
I love you too.
How many times? Okay, so this was my first time watching it. What about y'all? Because I know a couple of y'all saw it in theaters or something like that.
I believe I've seen it 4 times.
Nice.
Wow.
I just saw it when it came out
I love it.
and thought that was too soon to then.
No, wait, maybe 3 times because I think we saw it twice in theaters.
I only saw 20 minutes of it.
Nice. That's
out
enough to see Elena, though, right?
Yeah.
She's hot as fuck.
I mean, you saw Florence. That's all that really matters.
I'm so
Super gay.
I feel like you did not need to see the movie to know that because it's Florence Pugh.
But it's different when she's talking about her vests and its pockets, okay?
Like,
And the
and her
bodysuit.
voice,
Bodysuit just
like
looks
her voice. I just
Do they sell
Yeah.
that vest?
Listen, she just
There
brings
probably
an
will
energy to
too.
that movie. Like, there's
Didn't
something about
yet.
her just like chaos, jumping out of things and being like, "This was fun." I'm like, huh?
Speaking
You know
of
that scene? You know the scene at the
out
very
things?
beginning where they're like they see each other and then they start fighting and then they're like
Yeah.
choking each other. I'm like, can you please do that to me?
Right, me just
Like, can
clenching my
Yelena
legs
just do
as
that
I
to
sit there
me?
watching it, like, yep, this is great.
My favorite response to that scene when it came out, there were people on TikTok and you know that audio that's like, sorry mommy, sorry mommy, sorry mommy. So they would play that. Sorry mommy, sorry mommy.
It's
Yes.
it's the like female answer to Bucky and Steve knife fighting in Captain America 2.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you thought that was hot? Let's do it with women. Like, oh,
Only thing that would make it better is if one of them had a metal arm, right?
No, but you didn't even need it.
they didn't need it. It's true.
Didn't
They
need it.
didn't need it, but I just feel like that fight and one of them having a metal arm would just be like Christine's like perfect fight.
If Yelena and Bucky ever fight, you've seen the last of me. I won't make it out of there alive. They'll
Honestly,
be fine. I'll be dead.
Oh my goodness.
even if they're on the same side, I feel like they would be really good for like a jokey like sparring scene.
Right. They just like, dick around.
God, they would spend so much time insulting each other. It would be amazing.
Wait, do I have a new ship?
You know what? I wouldn't. Okay, but my current ship,
Not mad
actually,
about
for
it.
Yelena, is kind of depending. I don't know how old they're making her, but based on the actress's age, like Kate Bishop and Yelena, who will obviously be brought together because of the end of.
Yeah.
She's gonna go try to kill Hawkeye.
So does that mean she's going to be in the Hawkeye series,
I think
or is she
so.
going to be in a movie?
She's already in the credits for the Hawkeye show.
Oh, cool.
So think about the new Nat and Clint relationship is Yelena and Kate. But they're like also maybe that's my brain style.
The age difference is going to be too much.
But
because
she's like
Yelena's
on her
only-
own with a service dog. I don't know how old she is.
But Yelena's only like 4-ish years younger than Nat. Like when they were kids, they were not that much difference in age.
She was 6 in 1991. So she was born in
27.
1980.
Math is hard.
If she was 6 in 1991. She's 26.
No,
91.
because I was born in 1997 and I'm 24. So she's
She
like,
was born in 85.
Wait, if she was born in 90, if she was 6, hold on, if she was 6 in 91,
How many booktube
85.
students does it take to do basic subtracting?
And when did the
85,
movie
she's
come
like
out?
30.
Well, it's the 91 minus 6.
When
85,
did
1985.
Yeah, 1985. I'm trying to figure out how old she is in the movie.
So
When
it's
did Civil War happen?
2021, but it's 2023 in the movies, but she was gone for 5 years.
So she's like 37.
No. Okay, how old is Florence?
Okay. When did Civil War happen? What year? Does anyone remember?
Okay, so in real life, Florence Pugh is my age. She's a year older than me. So in real life, she is 25 years old. And in real life, Haley Steinfeld is also very close to my age. She is 24. She's my age as well. Okay, so in real life, it's perfect. I'm just saying that's not. I'm just saying they can comfortably put those actresses together.
They could, but I don't know.
Whereas Bucky is 7,000 years old, and
And only allowed to be with Christine or Sam.
just Sam. You think I'm good enough? Only in my
you
dreams.
definitely enjoy it.
Did I miss anything?
Not really.
We're now on a
Just
Yelena
yeah.
battle.
Not much.
We're just debating ships.
Oh, good.
I spent a good portion of this movie, especially at the end, going, Nat has been hanging out with Steve too much. The number of times she would just jump off. I'm just like,
Okay, I have two things to say about the movie. The one is, you know, when she's jumping off the roof and she lands on her feet and it's like 4 stories.
yeah,
Why didn't she land on her feet later?
I have zero memory of this scene that you were talking about at this point.
It's when they were killing the other, like when they were on the run.
Is that within like the first 20 minutes? Because
that
we
in
couldn't know what
Budapest?
you're talking about.
I don't.
Yes, in Budapest.
in Budapest.
Is
I
that
don't
when she
remember.
falls like down the building and like hits almost
Yeah, like
every
falls
bitch?
down the building and then like lands on her feet like a cat. And yet, on a certain other planet that we cannot talk about yet, because spoilers.
Was it? I mean, she shouldn't have survived the 4-story fall either. So
Dang.
My favorite-
magic.
what's going on moment was when Yelena like dropped in the Black Widow pose, and she's like, ugh. And I was like, why did
Yeah.
you do that, then, sweetheart? Like,
No,
You
that's
know you don't
exactly
like
the scene that I'm talking about.
What?
now I'm confused.
Because that's at the end of the movie, and Budapest is at like the beginning.
Oh no, at the beginning when she lands and like the other red room chick is in the like that's when she dies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You
Like,
don't know,
she-
Brianna. They made poor decisions in the scene that you are thinking of.
That's our best
It was a bad
explanation at this time.
decision all
Love it.
around. And part of me is wondering if it wasn't because they were ScarJo was starting to get some flack for stuff she was doing. And so they decided that, like, you know what, we don't need her. Well, we kept Jeremy Renner.
I would say, and Jeremy Renner wasn't.
He
Yeah, I
has
don't
no
think so.
privilege.
To be fair, though, Scarlett Johansson also challenges them. Jeremy Renner just challenges women. So,
True.
you know, Scarlett's
So-
like, I'll sue you. Jeremy Renner's like, I'll be really creepy and manipulative.
Yeah, and of course they leave that headline and makes it sound like she's being an absolute dick about it when she's just like, hey, like you should have changed the contract. And
Right,
I was like, oh, okay, that
like-
makes sense.
She's within her
rights.
rights completely to
Yeah.
do that.
The fact that they settled out of court tells you that she
Tells you-
was in her rights.
Yes.
Right. Because, I mean, like, they should, legally, they were out of line.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
especially because of how that affects her pay.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
and the precedent
Yeah.
going
Like-
forward then would be that they could do that anytime they wanted. So she's helping out other actors too.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
And, like,
Such
especially
a
because a lot of the money that they could make would have potentially come from merch. A lot of the money that she could have made for all of the times that her face would have been on a cup,
Yeah.
Mhm.
because people would have been buying the crap out of those fancy Black Widow cups to have her face in their kitchen forever.
Mhm.
Are you kidding? Like,
True.
Print out that poster.
and all that money she missed out on because
And people complain too because it's like, oh well, she already made so much, but it's like, dude,
It's one of those things that, like, yes, we're releasing things like they wanted to get on her for the fact that she was doing this when we're in a global pandemic, when really it was on Disney. They should have gone and renegotiated.
she
Said,
was
"We're gonna
saying
be
that they
doing
should have
this."
released it on Disney Plus. She was saying that they should have amended her
Renegotiated
pay.
the contract.
Exactly.
Right, like not that they shouldn't have done it, but that she should have been. Yeah,
right.
And I mean, all the money they fucking give like Robert Downey Jr. and stuff when she's just as iconic in her character. Yeah, I don't.
Mhm.
And shouldn't.
Mhm.
But they painted her in such a nasty light, and they were like,
It was awesome.
Right. That's what I hate about when media grabs stuff like this. They take one, side of a thing. People will take one side of a thing, and that becomes the
they were trying to say that she wasn't being
popular
considered
commentary.
during COVID, and like
And she's also like very
No, and
pregnant.
that's not what she was
too.
saying at all.
All right. Any other thoughts? What was those of us that have seen the full movie? What's your favorite part? Is it the fight scene in Budapest?
I think the part of that movie that sticks with me the longest is when she is like, my whole life was a lie and nobody even, or the best part of my life was a lie.
It was a
And
lie.
nobody
Oh my
even
God,
told me.
that was.
And she went from being the comic relief to the actual heart of the movie in like one scene. And I was like, that's fantastic acting. That was really good writing for her character. Like her character alone had some really great development.
They did a really good job of balancing Nat's story with bringing in Yelena as the next Black Widow.
Exactly. They did a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
I do wish they'd had slightly different costumes for the Red Room, because it seems really weird to me that Nat would have kept that costume after having escaped them.
Yeah.
That was a little weird to me. Like
that's a good
Maybe
point.
that's just something that she was used to, though.
Well, like I understand that, but
at least like a different color.
Well, not even that. I would have had the Black Widows that were in the movie that were not Nat, because I know she doesn't know about them. I would have had them in a similar suit, but not quite the same suit, and I would not have had that Black Widow thing.
Like she's carrying on the name. She
That's true.
And it's gonna mean something now too with Yelena and Yelena saving all those women, like helping them relocate. And
what did I just break? Okay.
Which I thought was one of the only good excuses for why somebody wasn't at Infinity War, because sometimes like, what the fuck were you here? And she's like, oh no, I was just like relocating.
And apparently working for Julia Louis-Dreyfus. I was like, I don't want to see this woman's face anymore.
Hey,
wait, you have seen Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
I have.
Yeah.
And that's,
so that's all time. She's recruiting all these hot blondes to do her bidding. Okay, that's power.
I would not consider John Walker a hot blonde.
I was going to say
was Sharon, but like
the minute that she recruited John Walker and put agency back in his hands as a superhero, I was just like, nope, she's not good.
She's a bad guy. Yeah, she's gonna be a bad guy, but it's just I'm thinking that what she's doing is interesting because she has two characters working for her that you believe in and you root for and you want them to be good. But they're working
one who's just a dipshit.
I don't care what happens to him.
Okay, he can die.
But it'll be an interesting dynamic.
Liz,
freeze. John Walker, hot blonde, no face.
I meant Sharon. You guys, you knew I had to be with the women.
My question: would we think that he was as disgusting if he had not been so good at playing this disgusting character?
No, he's a good-looking man. He's just not personally my.
I don't know. I feel like he is a mediocre white man.
He is.
There's nothing wrong with him.
He just looks like a mediocre white man.
He was beside Anthony Mackie. What the fuck do you want me to say?
He was beside Anthony Mackie. You think I was paying attention to anyone else?
Yeah, exactly, right? I'm like, he has a face.
He exists as a person.
He had a beard.
These are in the correct
eyeballs. I think even like.
I just was like, this is every guy that I've ever argued with on Twitter. I don't want to see him again. You know he's an MRA. You know he is.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah. And his wife has a blog opinion post about being like a classic wife. She's like a big Abby Shapiro fan.
Yeah,
Oh,
I just like
And it's probably like a boss babe.
Yes.
The minute-
Yes.
he let that woman disrespect his wife. I was like, oh, you are dead to me. Like, I mean, he was already dead to me,
That
but
was
like
the
just, like,
problem.
you're not redeemable.
That was the line, not when he decapitated that guy with a fucking Captain America shield.
Yeah, that was a problem too.
That was pretty bad.
Was it for you?
I'm glad we're all on the
That
same
was the
page.
moment I decided, like obviously that's the moment where we really realized that he doesn't need the shield. We're talking about the wrong thing, by the way. But anyways, yeah, I just was not happy to see Julia Louis-Dreyfus fist pop up.
Thor Ragnarok, eh?
Yes, let's talk about
Yeah. I didn't watch that either this month, but I love it.
You know
I
that one by heart.
discovered something about Marvel movies. They're much more enjoyable for me when I can actually like occupy my hands with things when the battle scenes are happening. Because I remember the only Marvel movie that hadn't bored me in a while was Black Panther, which came out around the same time. And like, even though I enjoyed Thor Ragnarok the first time I watched it, I was like, we could have made this like 30 minutes shorter. Why am I still here? Like in places. But I really like appreciated it a lot more this time. The humor, I cannot wait until I feel like we already did that, Brianna. I like
I'm
the
in
humor.
more detail.
I can't wait until Love and Thunder comes out because I think that is going to be so much fun
It's gonna be gay.
and like
It's
Super
gonna
gay.
be gay.
the ships are going to be good no matter who ends up with whom.
Okay, don't say that like there's a chance it won't be gay when we saw Tessa Thompson in a pinstripe suit. Okay?
Christine, I'm not
Okay.
saying it won't be gay. I'm just saying
No
I
matter,
don't know.
you're so diplomatic, Margaret. No matter who ends up with who, no, it's gonna be gay.
I'm just saying there are
Yeah,
multiple
well, I spent
options.
the entirety of Captain Marvel thinking that those two were together, and they were not together. So,
I think I ruined your life when I told you that. I feel like I should never have dispelled
I
that
remember
illusion.
that moment.
I mean, I feel like, yes, no matter who ends up with who, it's still going to be gay. Because everyone is queer.
Christine is gonna rewrite "It's Gonna Be Me" by NSYNC as
It's gonna be gay.
Okay. Anyways, no, I just like there are multiple ways ships could go in that movie for me and still work. Like, does that make sense?
And
Yes.
the scary thing is that I feel like Marvel's just like playing with us because that's what they do. It's kind of like with Spider-Man.
It's possible.
No, but
And
they
so, like, I feel
said.
like they're leaking all of this, like these pictures with Jane and Tessa Thompson, like, everybody, and they're gonna be like, oh wait,
For
we're just kidding.
Valkyrie. I don't give a shit who she ends up with, really, because honestly, I would prefer Sif. But they promised for Valkyrie, so she is getting her moment.
See, I like
Yay.
Sif and Valkyrie.
I really
Sif
wanted to, but I'm
and
just
Valkyrie.
afraid Marvel queer baits the shit out of us.
You're talking
then
to
they
the biggest optimist who's ever been let down by Marvel queer. Okay, but Taika Waititi said so, and he doesn't lie.
and he does stuff.
The
I'm
rest
just-
of them are
I'm just
stinky
saying, like,
troops, but
I'm
not
okay.
him.
I'm just very
Ragnarok.
cautious.
I feel like I have unleashed Ragnarok. No,
You kind of did.
they queer bait and then they publish an interview where they're like, yeah, it's beyond time that we should have a gay Marvel hero. Who's in charge for this
We
movie?
know.
I'm pretty sure we met him, and his name is Samuel. But like, okay,
I mean, we could. That could work.
Or Valkyrie, or Loki, or
Okay, so anyways,
if Loki is the only bit of queerness that we get, I'm just gonna be very disappointed.
that's
I mean,
very
he's
funny.
delivering.
It's
This
the
isn't his fault.
anti-hero slash
We need
villain
some sapphic
sometimes.
stuff going on. We really do.
to do Tessa Thompson and like not do that is a crime.
I love your
Oh,
tortillas,
100%.
Christine.
So, all right. So back to Thor Ragnarok though, because we don't know what's gonna happen in Love and Thunder. That's
Thor
later.
Ragnarok was still had gay vibes.
That's a 2020 problem, 2022 problem. You know, we'll deal with that when it comes.
23, I think.
Okay, 2023. Will we still be here by that point?
I don't know.
Will the world
knows?
still be here by that point?
Oh goodness, I hope so.
We'll
That's
have
still
to see how
within Cassie's
2022
natural
goes.
lifespan.
I want to see all the gay stuff, so it better
Mhm.
be.
It better
All
be.
right. So, Thor Ragnarok. How did we like? I liked the change in tone because I feel like it fits Thor a lot better.
Oh, 100%.
I'm still
When
just sad
people
that you
ask
guys
me,
didn't.
like,
You go ahead.
oh, when people ask me what kind of sci-fi I like, that and Guardians of the Galaxy is like that kind of
Yeah.
sci-fi, like
You
those
like-
elements. Otherwise, I just can't.
You like the comedic irreverent stuff, yeah?
And the
How did you feel about
goofiness.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
See, I've been suggested that, but I've never seen it.
If you like the irreverent sci-fi that just like is fun but also makes fun of the genre, you may end up liking Hitchhiker's Guide, especially like the movie.
Bethany also suggested The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet.
Mm-hmm. By Becky. I didn't realize that was that genre.
You know what you'd love? She-Ra.
I did. I watched the entirety of it, and I got one of my friends to watch it, and he doesn't even like watch that, like women with doing things. And I was like, yeah, it's this, and then She-Ra, and she's a princess, and she's like super BA, like, and he's like, I don't know. And then 3 days later, he was like, I started watching your show. I really like it. I'm like,
And that's the one where people were like, "Is this gonna be gay?" And the creators are like, "It's gonna be gay."
I am so glad I shared that thought that I had with you, Christine.
Yeah,
Because you're gonna sing that
For the
so
rest
much
of our
now.
friendship.
That's just gonna be it's everything that she says now.
Exactly. Like that's gonna become a constant in her life now.
And
But
it's
no,
all
I'm just
your
sad
fault.
that you guys didn't go for my brilliant idea of the boss battle switching it to be take a picture of a creative picture of a rag and a rock.
That was one of our options.
I
suggested it. I thought it was brilliant. Come on.
Yes, that was funny. Okay, so I gotta ask from Thor Ragnarok because we had so many characters. Favorite performance?
I have been falling for 30 minutes.
yes, that one, and yes.
You know
It's my
what?
favorite
Actually, now
one.
that I'm thinking about it,
That moment, that's the best moment in the entire movie because like they've built up to this like, oh, it's gonna be this big bad, and it's Hulk, and like he just is like, yeah, and like it's such a tone shift.
That and the one where he's like the fight between him and Hulk, like, you're a bad friend, and he just
Oh my
does the
god.
thing, and he's like, are you crazy? Yeah.
I have to
And
give
they
it to
got
Chris Hemsworth. That was
What?
like an actually really good performance from him, and it kind of shows that like
Oh, he's
he
real.
could have been
versatile.
doing more the whole time.
Yeah, I know. He's like we saw that. You saw that in Ghostbusters with how well he did that and still managed to like pull it off.
Oh, that's a shit movie. Then.
If you've seen Ghostbusters.
Don't if you haven't.
I've
Not.
never seen it actually.
I saw it. It was all right. I haven't seen the original, so I don't know any of that.
Oh.
I just know I enjoyed it.
The new one with Paul Rudd looks really good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is that a new one or is it just an extension?
it's like an extension of the first one. I heard the original trilogy,
Okay.
but not like I don't think the Kristen Wiig ones or whatever have anything to do with that. But I could be wrong about that.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll try and rephrase this question. Favorite side character? Because like we had all of these great moments. We had Thor hitting himself in the head with the ball. That was hilarious.
I mean, I don't think that this movie so much has side characters.
Yeah.
I feel like it's definitely more of an ensemble.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
Wait, no, cancel. Oh my god.
Hemsworth is the only good thing about the remakes. I mean, I enjoyed Leslie Jones too. I know there were some problematic elements with like that casting and everything, but I enjoyed having her in that movie. So she is genuinely just like a fun person to watch and interact with or see on things. So, do you have any other thoughts on the movie?
I do.
Okay, Christine.
I do. I forgot about the little dynamic between Valkyrie and the Hulk, and where they're like, I feel like I know you. Like the whole time, I forgot about that. And I just Mark Ruffalo, Chris Hemsworth, and Tessa Thompson, and Tom Hiddleston, and all those people, they need more time together, man. They need more time away from Earth. That was pretty good.
I feel like we at least need like Hulk to be a part of the Thor now. If he's not going to get his own solo movie, he needs to be a part of he needs to be in in those movies. Like
I know.
Like
it's the only time I've ever wanted a Hulk solo movie.
Yeah. I feel like that's also the strongest performance Mark Ruffalo's been able to give.
I would
agree. Because he got to like have some character and have some moments. Like he got material to work with.
And he made his own decisions. I feel like it was a big difference from Age of Ultron, where they kind of just rope him into doing shit he doesn't want to do. It was actually his choice this time.
Yeah. I liked that. I thought that was a really good moment. And I think that like there's the potential for there to be more about that, especially considering. But there's only so much I can say about that.
What I missed.
It's gonna be green. Bum bum.
we were just saying that Mark Ruffalo also got a lot more material and chance to like really work as a character and as an actor in this movie as well.
Mark Ruffalo is hot as fuck.
Somehow, yes. I don't understand.
I love him
he's like
so much.
I think as a woman, it's really like most of the men in your life are like dumber than you because they've been socialized. They don't have to work very hard. They don't have to learn shit in terms of like intellectualism, right? Like it's not cool. So when you like a man like Mark Ruffalo, who's like not only so talented, but so intellectual and smart, like very much definitely smarter than me, right? That's like, oh shit. Whereas I feel like that's why I like academia so much because everyone around me is like so fucking brainy, right? But like if you're just like going about your life, most of the men, they're not encouraged to like think that critically about systems that. So Mark Ruffalo's out here like fighting the good fight and being all smart, and it's like he's a good man.
He's got bi-wife energy for show.
Yeah.
Yes.
Adams could learn a thing or two from him.
Bi-wife energy.
And I feel like he's that cool in real life too.
Yes,
Even
I feel
cooler,
like he genuinely would be. I feel like that with a lot of the Marvel actors, like from what we're able to see, like you can't
Like
tell me.
Paul Rudd is bi-wife.
Oh my God!
He's who Alex bases his whole personality around, so I would agree with that.
Yeah,
I love that for you.
I wouldn't even like sneer at the age difference with Paul Rudd.
I'm sorry.
The same year as my mom.
Whatever that man is doing, like I want to know what his skincare routine is. Like
he's gotta be putting something in those eyes to make them
children in
He wore his sunscreen is what he did. He's like the only man who wore sunscreen.
He's like literally my mom's age. Like they are born the same year.
That's ridiculous.
Also good genetics, probably. A lot of the time it's good genetics. It's the fact that you can I was telling somebody else this because they asked about like Jennifer Lopez. I was like, or no, Taylor Swift. It's good genetics. It's the fact that they can get facials and other treatments to keep their skin in good condition on a regular basis. They have access to treatments and products and things that most people can't afford.
Well, that's
so. Some of them are ridiculous products that do no good. Some of them are actually effective.
Do you think Paul Rudd? It's not even so much that like he looks unnaturally young. He just looks like he's aging so freaking well.
Right.
Because he does look older than he did in Friends, but he still looks like he's got. I don't know. It's like.
I'll be there for you.
So, and also there's a lot of stuff that you can do with plastic surgery that isn't what we think of as plastic surgery. It's a lot more subtle. but it still helps your face.
I
Okay,
would
so
love
there
to
are
know
our first two
magic.
Marvel daddies is Paul
What?
Rudd and Mark Ruffalo.
It's
I would
Marvel
like
magic.
I like to also submit Chris Hemsworth for a Marvel daddy because the whole like just like Thor hot guy thing, it doesn't do it for me. But how like lovely and like sweet he is about his
He is as a
family in
person?
real life,
Mhm.
he can be a Marvel daddy too.
Mm-hmm. I feel like he's one of the ones that like genuinely enjoys being like fit and buff the entire time. Like he's
Yeah.
not like some of the other guys that are just like it is such a chore. He just
No,
is that.
he's like I used to follow him on Instagram. He has like a whole routine that he goes through like day to day, and he just loves it.
Yeah.
Sebastian Stan's really into it too.
Yeah.
He just ran up to
Did you
fucking
see?
Empire
Did
State
you see the
Building.
one? Did you see the one where he did like a 5-mile run or something like that, and then he stopped and got a snack? And I was like, that's a fucking mood.
Yep.
That's adorable.
And then he's always in all his freaking videos, he's like, Anthony Mackie, come do this. And it's like
And it's funny because
antagonist.
like the people in Hollywood, they're all fit and skinny because they have to be. But some people, it's easier for them to do that, so they're less miserable doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, that's part of why Hugh Jackman quit as Wolverine. He's like, I'm getting older. I can't do this any longer. And I'm tired of having to have chicken breasts 5 times a day.
Ew. Yeah.
Well, I think that's why. What's his name?
Evans?
Drax.
Drax? Dave
Bautista.
Bautista.
That's why he's leaving, because he's like, I'm 50-something years old. I don't want to act like I don't want to not have a shirt on anymore on the movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, it's one of those
fair
things.
though, right? That's a rough routine.
Yeah, well, like it's one of those things that like we have this idealized version of this cut male body, which is actually the weakest version of the body. Like the muscles are there's and all of that stuff. And then like you have when because there was I remember a lot of debate when Chris Evans stopped doing the Captain America diet. He didn't look bad. He just was not cut like that. You could tell that he actually had muscle there now.
Are you
And stuff.
kidding?
Yeah.
He put on that turtleneck for Knives Out, and this is one of those moments where like I grew a penis and balls just to
That line when he says "vicious little," I was like, I replayed
You
that.
can call
over and
me
over.
that.
Why do I like this?
Michelle, you are allowed to cuss on my channel. It's fine.
Okay, but like the way that he said it, it was worse than like the
Mhm.
C word, and it was all
Yeah,
my
there's
God.
like more anger in there than you could ever put casually into your voice.
Yeah.
It's moments like that when I know that I'm definitely bisexual and not completely gay.
Right? They're rare, but they're there, and you're like,
And also like being with a straight passing like relationship. That too.
But no, there was a movie that
So when
he
we
did
when we get to Endgame, I'm gonna talk about how much I actually like Fat Thor, but we'll get there.
oh, I'm
Mm,
excited
they
for
couldn't
that take.
I have so many things I want to say about that because it could have been
We'll
a
talk
moment.
about it then.
So we'll talk about that then.
December.
Conversation coming
Okay, so we had some boss battles. Does anyone remember what was the Black Widow? Okay, the Black Widow boss battle. Christine.
My brainchild.
soon. Yeah.
Yes.
The
Okay.
I
How did
actually
we do with that
participated
one?
in that one.
Yeah. That one. So what I really wanted to do was just celebrate Black Widow because I feel like for a lot of us, I'm just gonna say that generally, even though I'm purely talking about myself. She was part of our queer understanding of ourselves from a young age, like, oh
Our
my
queer
God,
awakening.
what is she doing with her legs? Oh, I'm into women. So like I wanted to celebrate that. And I also wanted to celebrate the fact that she was like freaking holding up
The entire Avengers.
the entire Avengers emotionally, but like for so long, the only way like a woman could be in a superhero movie was by being like super sexy and like Vixen-esque and stuff. And she did that without ever
I
feeling
don't
like
know.
a caricature.
I think the curls were super dumb in Iron Man 2. Like I was just like, how am I supposed to take this woman seriously?
Well, I
But-
agree with you, but you have to like, even if sometimes they costumed her that way, she always acted Nat as like a serious.
Yes, she did a
force.
good job as Nat.
She really brought a lot of dignity to a character that could have been really cartoonish.
Yeah, and I feel like she deserved a lot more material because, like you said, she was kind of like the emotional thing holding them together. We could have seen more of that. I would have liked to see her, like, maybe even running interference between, like, Tony and Steve, or
saying is
locking
Tony
them in a room.
Tony got 3 movies. Why did
Yeah.
Tony get 3 movies and Nat get 1?
Right?
And it was like,
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Do you
not
want
even
the
main
answer,
character.
Blue? Because we know the answer. It starts with,
Because
again, men's and
misogyny.
misogyny.
And it's not even like everyone would have wanted to see a Black Widow movie. That's not just women fans. Everyone would have gone to see a Black Widow
Everyone
movie.
would have.
Exactly.
Especially in the early days, because they absolutely could have had her in a suit where she was zipped down just a little bit, so there was some cleavage and all of that, and the boys would have eaten
But I
that.
think we would be having a very different conversation about that movie than we
Yes.
are now.
Yes.
True.
That would be like them just fetishizing a female superhero.
Yes.
Sure.
I'm
I'm
saying,
saying
no,
that
but
thing,
not
I think
even
she's
go there.
I think she's
just
really
saying-
hot and stuff too. Like obviously she's a very sexually pleasing
I have
character.
eyes.
Men are
Right.
that smart. They can't.
But it's just that like she managed. She was very hot, but she was also never.
Yeah.
Just hot.
Just,
She was never
the
just
point
hot.
is that the marketing
Exactly.
opportunity.
It was never just about her sexual.
Yeah, the
Right, we
marketing
explored her
opportunity was
trauma and
always
everything.
there. We
Yeah.
had fucking Tomb Raider. Like the marketing opportunity was always there. They just didn't want a female superhero movie.
No, exactly, and that's why it's like, well,
They
And she's
We had
super
to see that
feminine.
Wonder
and
Woman was gonna do
strong.
well.
Oh my gosh, guys! I have a brilliant idea.
Brilliant idea.
We're gonna go and we're gonna write our own thing, and we're gonna start our own universe that is not Marvel or DC. That's all about the women.
the Summer Mercenary.
I mean, I do that in my work anyways. I struggle to apparently get men in my books.
Wow, I
There
wonder
are,
why.
there are worse problems, Margaret. There are worse problems to have in your writing.
My Nano project from last year has one named male character, and it's the villain.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, that was just kind of how I grew up. Is mostly girls that I hung around, and then I knew one boy. I knew 1-2 boys. That was what I knew, and they were all friends of my friend. They were like siblings of my friends. So, I have a Cinderella retelling. I'm pretty sure the only men in that book are that actually with significant time are her father and the prince. And then all of the other characters and supporting characters are women.
As they should.
As they should be. Men do not need any more space than they already need.
See, now I like writing soft boys who say no to toxic masculinity.
That's good.
I love soft boys.
Kind of my kink.
The soft boys
to write more
who,
male
give you
characters than female
compliments
characters,
and
to be honest.
shower you with love and attention.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. But when the
Mhm.
girls do it too, that's good too.
Mhm.
I feel like I tend to write a lot of men because that's where I tend to maybe explore a bit of my more masculine side that
Mm-hmm.
I can't really
That
in
makes
my
sense.
daily life.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
All right. So the Thor Ragnarok battle, we had to do the buddy read, and we could do a costume, or we could do both. Obviously, I pulled out my Natasha cosplay and took a picture. For the whole 5 seconds I wore it because we are curmudgeons here and do not do Halloween in this household, apparently.
That was Nina Zenik.
I love how I
That's
say
okay.
that
We didn't
like
do anything either.
it was a surprise. Yeah.
I mean, the only thing I dressed up for was work, but that's more because I'm an introvert and didn't want to go out and do things.
I don't either because panini.
Let's be honest. I mean, we had kids that came through, and I didn't want to deal with them, so I just put the bowl of candy out on the porch.
Yeah. That would have
I
been
had
me
an
too.
entire costume made up for Soren. An entire costume. We put it on the very last minute before we were supposed to leave, and it did not fit. And I was like, "You're gonna be Bob Ross today." That's all.
I love that.
Oh, that's cute.
Put on his blue jeans and a jean shirt, You're Bob Ross. That's it.
Aw, that's cool. That's funny. I did go to a Halloween party the weekend before.
So you're
But-
doing better than me.
But it was less Halloween and just more like everyone playing Cards Against Humanities in costume.
That sounds so fun.
Listen, my favorite moment of that was when I sat down. They're like, "We'll explain it to you. We'll help you figure it out." And then my first time that I got to put cards down, I won the round because I knew which cards to play. I was like, I've been on Tumblr.
It's all about learning your who the judge is.
Yes.
Have y'all played Super Fight?
No, I haven't.
Super
Can
Fight
we
is
play cards?
so
Can we play Cards
much
Against
more
Humanity
fun
online?
than
It's
Cards
so
Against
fun.
Humanity or anything else that involves
Yeah.
cards and pairings.
Honestly,
Look it
Brianna,
up.
I just went with the dirtiest
good.
things I could think of.
Right?
Like I had one card that was like my back, my ass, my pussy, my crack, something like that. It's a song lyric or something, and like the girl who got the card could not even finish reading it. She was laughing so hard. This woman has 2 kids and she was blushing, and I'm just like, do you need me to read that for you?
You either go like the dirtiest or the most politically incorrect.
I definitely did that a couple of times with some Hitler cards.
Right? Like you find that Donald Trump card and it's like,
I didn't get that one. There were some places where that would have been really a good answer, though. Like,
The
I would have had.
Tutsi one is too soon for me still.
the
What?
The Hutus and Tutsi one.
Ooh, yeah,
It's too soon.
that's but that's an actual. I mean, I guess Donald Trump is responsible for
That's
some
an
genocide.
actual thing that
genocide.
happened. Margaret
Yeah.
just made a joke about Hitler.
That's an actual genocide. It was less a joke and more an inappropriate comment about him. So, anyways, is there anything else we want to talk about before we move on to the book?
Wait,
my Halloween
yes.
costume was Night Circus inspired, and I'm very happy with it.
Oh, yay. Christine.
Did Loki and Jeff Goldblum fuck? Yes or no?
100% yes.
Absolutely.
Loki is
Oh,
100%
yeah.
a bottom in that situation.
Because that's how he didn't get turned into a champion, right? Like
Yeah.
he was like, "Hello," and the Grandmaster was like, "Okay."
He was
I mean-
definitely the sub in this.
That's how Loki goes all the time, though. If from the little bit that I've seen of the TV show so
Loki's
far.
a switch. Loki is a switch for
Loki
sure.
pretends to be the least dominant until he has the upper hand.
I
And then
would
it's
agree
just
with
like,
I think Loki is naturally a submissive, but like then when he gets that upper hand, he's definitely dominant.
Yes.
I'm too gay for this.
I'm just saying that's how Loki got out of a lot of stuff just in mythology. Anyways. Like
I like
he's
the whole scene where I want the whole like behind the scenes scene where they bring him just like they brought Thor and the Grandmaster was just like beautiful.
he's too pretty to
I will
fucking
take
fight.
him.
Honestly-
He's with that now.
That's probably how it worked. Is he showed up and the Grandmaster was like, "Oh, he's too pretty to fight."
Because they always say Thor's like, "How did this happen?" And Loki's just like, I got myself involved in
Yeah.
Stuff.
I made myself favorable.
That works.
Thor,
Oh.
cover your ears. You're too pure.
Who? Oh, Thor. All right. So, thoughts, questions, comments. Anybody in the chat have any thoughts about the movies or the boss battle at all? Any questions?
I'm just saying we might have taken it easy in October, but
Yeah.
You guys really want a real ass-
It was with intention, friends.
there's
We
a
will
very
be kind.
big billion coming soon.
Because as we all know, Ant-Man and the Wasp was one of the most high-stakes movies of all time. And that is what our boss battle will be about.
Okay, let's be honest.
And it's definitely not going to be.
If we were in the
possible.
current climate that we were in, Ant-Man would be a Disney Plus TV show. Let's be honest. I'm not saying I don't love it. I'm just saying they would definitely have
But
Disney.
Margaret, that's what the big boss battle is. Because there's no other
There's nothing
No
else.
other important
nothing else
movie?
coming.
Yeah.
Do we
If
talk
it-
about what we're reading at the end or in the middle before we talk about the book? I can't remember.
We talked about
What?
the book last in case anyone hasn't finished it.
Oh yeah, we need to do the housekeeping like November stuff first.
We have housekeeping November stuff.
Well, like what movies we're watching and stuff.
Oh, that's right.
So we're watching
do.
Ant-Man and
Yeah,
the
wait,
Wasp
I can
and,
write it down.
and a
It's
very
not
like
either.
under the radar unpopular movie, right?
I know the
Yeah.
answer to this then. Okay, so first movie we're watching, dates will be announced at some point. I don't think we've
Maybe this weekend.
possibly. I don't think we've talked about this yet.
Not at all.
First movie is gonna be Infinity War.
No,
It's a
Second
very,
movie is
very small movie. If you're not there for
yeah.
it,
I
don't worry.
almost didn't go see that one, honestly, because
I've never even heard of it before.
exciting.
What's it about?
I think
Christine,
Squidward,
no one's going to buy that Bucky is in it.
it's definitely
So-
about Squidward.
Oh, the rare Squidward MCU. Yeah, I remember seeing that one. Now I recall that there
And
were
the flying
several seconds
donut?
where I was shrieking out loud in the theater, and then I don't know if I remember my life after that.
The floating donut.
Yep.
Something happens at the end of that one, right?
I don't
big.
remember. I
don't.
couldn't recall. I couldn't tell you how it ends.
Like I mean, like I can kind of.
It's been
I
like
love
5
the theater. I
years
don't know.
I've seen it. It's not coming to me. Sorry.
Question for all of you:
Yes,
who's seeing Eternals this week?
it comes out
Maybe
this week.
Sunday.
I don't go
Thank
see
you,
movies
Bree.
anymore.
That's the appropriate reaction.
The what?
I heard terrible reviews about it.
Right, but I'm not going to trust anyone but myself.
So, from what I'm seeing, it just depends on who I like. I don't know where the reviews are from because I know that there are a lot of people that like have actually like seen it and liked it, and they're like the reviewers just don't like that it's not this, that, or the other
Like
thing.
I don't think it got a great Rotten Tomatoes score.
Again,
Who cares? Rotten
the
Tomatoes.
what
only
movie?
opinion
Things
about
else
Marvel I
anyways.
take into consideration is my own, and the rest of you never change my mind about anything I feel. So,
Like what was it? Shrek had a terrible Rotten Tomatoes score.
Really?
And it's one of the it was like we went to see it and we're like, what is Rotten Tomatoes on? Because that was a fantastic movie.
Interesting.
Look at how long Shrek has lasted. It got a musical.
Yeah, it has a cult following.
It has
And
What did we go? What?
Shrek had a terrible Rotten Tomatoes score when it came out.
No, I
like
mean,
it
what
was
movie? What movie comes out this week?
the
Oh,
Eternals.
The Eternals.
Oh.
So Richard
I know.
Madden's ass
broke.
is going to be in it, and I don't know if Rotten Tomatoes took that into account.
Fair.
I also feel like
He
we should
really
point out
has a
that it was
nice butt.
directed by a woman of color, and people probably did take that into account.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It was directed by a woman of color.
Yes. Okay.
It featured mainly women of color. It featured the first gay couple. It featured the first disabled, like majorly disabled superhero. She's deaf. Like,
Mhm.
like there's no.
Like, I'm
there's
not
no
going to
chance
argue.
it's got the same fairness as.
Yeah. I'm
as,
not
you
going to
know.
argue with like some of the
And then that one guy
CGI went too
Kashankar,
far.
or what's I can't remember what his name is, but he looks hot as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Which guy? Which guy?
Rob Stark
What?
is
What?
Rob Stark, Jon Snow, Minerva.
Oh, yeah,
from
wasn't
Captain
it?
Marvel. Mhm.
Did I know Kit Harington was in this?
Okay, wait. So Kit Harington's character in the comics, his other name is the Black Knight. And in the last episode that they were in together in Game of Thrones, Richard Madden says to Kit Harington, "The next time I see you, you'll be all in black." But then he dies, so he never sees him on the wall. But then he'll be the Black Knight, and it's coming back. It's coming back.
I didn't know that.
Okay, so
Christine
anyways,
is not going to be okay.
according to Beth and her books, it's getting review bombed, and Anne Marie is backing that up as well. Which is exactly, that's what I have been hearing
That's
online as well.
Well, that's good to know.
Like
Yeah.
there's a gay couple of color. There's like there's two main interracial relationships. There's a deaf character. Like there's a lot, and they're probably like, "Oh my God, Angelina Jolie and Selma Hayek being in charge. That could never happen." So
I
Or
mean, that's
probably
probably
being
not
like,
about the gay
or
couple
the
too.
same argument that I hear that's like, oh, well, why does everything have to have its own representation? Why is there so many blah, blah, blah people in the media? It's like,
Maybe you should just shut up and watch the movie.
Right.
Like, no one cares except you.
Right, like don't worry, Richard Madden is still the big hot guy. Like there's still one there for you to look at. Like don't worry.
And my thought is like, if that's your concern, like just don't. If that bothers you that much, then don't watch it. Go watch
There's
something
so
else.
many
Like,
more Marvel movies for you.
there's no reason to sit there and like complain about somebody else's,
I'm getting
media that's clearly not for you if that's
busy.
your view. Like,
yeah,
I agree.
If you can, because like, I mean, it's one thing if something like, represents something that maybe isn't like your thing or like isn't a part of your life or, whatever, like, okay, but like that doesn't mean that it's not valuable to people, and that doesn't
We were
mean
just
that
talking
like,
about this last night.
you can't just like let it go and like be there and have
yes.
to, like,
Well, it's like that
make
guy
everything
that was
fit your
was
life,
saying
like
that they needed to cater Black Panther to a white
Right.
his lens as a like
Exactly,
40-year-old white man, and I'm just
They
like,
already
that's
did.
not the point.
They
exactly.
did though. They did that. That's what
Yeah.
you don't understand, you asshole. They already did that, and it's still too much for you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, no, it wasn't that it was too much for him. He was
Exactly.
like, they just didn't explain stuff. And I was like, well, the stuff that they didn't explain, you didn't need to, because that would, number one, be re-traumatizing the Black community. And they're wanting to go see a fun superhero movie. So
Can you
I
imagine
get
every
why they
time he
didn't want
walked
that.
past like a traditional African outfit, they paused and like they're like, well, so white viewers, just so you know, like this kind of cloth is very common in this part of the world. I just didn't want you to get scared that you saw an unfamiliar pattern. Okay, continue. Like,
I
no.
enjoy it.
Anyways,
I enjoy.
yeah,
when
that's
Christine pops them in those
Christine had a
kinds of
point.
comments.
I don't like movies that stray away from the typical white het action movie thing. I'm not gonna like whatever. I'm gonna skip my own
I'm
opinion.
gonna make my own opinion.
The book we are reading
This is next month.
is this month.
Oh,
This
I
is this
also
month.
own it. I can
Oh
join.
yeah, it is this month now.
This is the Firekeeper's daughter. I'm 14 pages in, and it's like you can. I actually looked up to see if this was her debut, because like you can tell that she has written a good few books before this one. Like it's really, the writing is really good. So I'm excited, very excited.
The time stone for the.
Yes, and the Time Stone.
I love that you printed it out.
Yeah, well, I had to put it in my journal, and I didn't have stickers for the Infinity Stone, so
Oh,
and I
you
hadn't
guys,
I hadn't glued it in yet, so that was the perfect opportunity to.
there you go.
I got like 100
It just
pages
worked
into
out.
this before I stopped reading it, and so then I still have like 300 and something pages to go.
Nice. I have a feeling I'm going to enjoy it. But speaking of books that we enjoyed or did not enjoy, what?
I have
What,
a very important announcement. I randomly flipped to page 174, and the very last line of the page is multiple orgasms.
Isn't this a YA book?
She's
Are you
18.
seeing that orgasms are impure and corrupting?
No,
Is
it's
the female orgasm uncomfortable for you?
It's not usually mentioned like that. In
Girls
a YA
get
book.
horny too, Rihanna. Okay.
Oh
No,
no!
a 30-something-year-old. I am a little
There might be youth
worried about a
watching
teenager
this.
having orgasms.
You don't know the context yet, Brianna. We
Yeah. Maybe it's really, really about it's in health class.
Death in her books wants to know which was the stone for last month.
Last month was
The yellow one?
hang on. No, the Mind Stone. No, the Power Stone. The Power Stone. Sorry,
Perfect.
I'm organized.
That's the purple one, right?
Yes. I glued them backwards in I actually originally wanted them to be in the other order, but then I did them backwards when I made the graphics, and then I glued them the right way in here, but then since I made the graphics and posted the graphics, so then it was wrong in here, and so then it's chaos. The end.
And
I'm going to
It
ban
will
you
sort
from
out in the
comments.
end.
3-year-olds all day, can you tell? I can't make words anymore. It's fine. I'm doing great. How are you?
Tuesday night, fine.
Can I say the thing?
The thing?
Uh-huh.
Do we want to do it in this live show or the next live show?
Are you gonna bring down the hammer?
I want to do it.
You want to do
I
it?
can't keep it on my chest.
Okay.
Because by the time we get to the thing I'm talking about, I'll have no chest left. So it's time to...
I thought that wasn't
Is
until
it weird
January.
that I was actually gonna say that too?
Hmm?
I was gonna be like, because you gotta be chest.
I thought
Yeah.
that was in January, Christine.
Yeah, so by the time we're talking about the thing that I want to talk about to them, it'll be past January.
Okay.
Wow.
It'll be...
All right. So we have a secret for y'all.
It'll be.
You didn't hear it here first.
But you did.
So we're still not like firmed into exactly what we're gonna do next year in terms of like the structure as much, but
there will be one.
there will be one. We will be doing more of an every other month thing and including the TV shows from Disney Plus on our roster. But this way we'll get to have like the on months where we do a lot and then we take a break
Yes.
and we don't die.
Because it's been a lot.
Did you know that
also
we
give everybody a
retire?
chance to catch up on boards that we haven't finished this year.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there, you don't have
AKA
to like
me.
it doesn't have to be done by December 31st. There's going to be new boards next year. And also the other ones carry over.
We might see some friends again, considering what we're watching.
Yeah,
Just
and the main thing we're gonna
out
be going
there.
back is the boss battles. The number of boss battles is definitely gonna scale back because that has probably been the hardest thing is scheduling that and the watch along timing.
Yeah.
Those two
Like,
things are
having
gonna scale back to
every
make it
weekend
more
has been
functional
so much.
for like week to week living.
So, but it's been fun and we want to keep some of it going. And we want to have ways for other people to continue on and some people to join and participate. Was that
Alex, could you be like any louder while I'm doing a live show?
yes, he could be.
Um,
You have
What?
permission to be louder, Alex, if you want to prove a point.
so you'll see us in February 2022 with WandaVision.
Yes.
But we're not done with 2021 yet.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
What division?
theory.
What
in
division?
theory, it'll be February.
I've heard that's coming out, but I
What's
guess
coming
we'll-
out?
Me and Michelle down here just jamming.
We're
I
just
can't hear you
vibing.
over the singing. Okay, Christine, you've heard
Okay,
what's
I'll be
coming
quiet
out.
now.
WandaVision, but it'll be in it'll be delayed by the pandemic outbreak that's going to happen after the release of one of the Marvel movies. So we're not there yet. But theoretically, if that was a thing, if those characters even managed to get through what's coming to them in the next few movies, we would see them
save
in
everyone.
WandaVision.
Or would we?
Or
Saving everyone this year.
Bum, bum, bum.
it was
Anyways.
Agatha all along.
If you see anyone ask if there's going to be something next year, tell them to come watch this live show so I get the watch time, y'all.
Do
At
that.
an
You
hour
can
and
also
13
say
minutes.
yes.
And don't tell them a timestamp
Yeah, don't tell don't
because
tell
then
them
they have to
anything.
suffer through figuring out where it is and listen to us ramble about irrelevant things.
But here's the main
Like
rundown.
Halloween.
We're not switching to any other fandom. There'll
Nope.
be no Disney princesses, no characters.
We're not
There'll be
doing
Disney
DC.
princesses, sure as
Wanda
shit.
is a Disney princess.
No DC, no X-Men, unless they somehow in the next year fit into that time slot. That's really up to them, not me. And
No Star Wars.
no Star Wars. It's gonna still be Marvel. We're gonna take some time.
Although, what if did combine the Star Wars universe into Marvel? Did you notice that?
No,
No, but now I need to watch
Wow.
What If, apparently.
I did not pay that show much great attention after the zombies episode.
I mean,
I was kind of
the
tired.
finale did pull. I think it was Tatooine.
All right. Speaking of
There you go.
the zombies, I think it is time to talk about the book.
There were no zombies in the book. That's the terrible segue.
You know what? It worked in my head.
And not in
I
real
have
life
it,
or
even though I
execution
did
of
not
any
see
kind.
it.
Hold up. Christine, their brain function was taken over by a infectious disease.
And they
basically.
died immediately. There was no cannibalization. There was no they immediately
Listen, it's
died
just
very
a zombie.
horrendously.
Okay, so
I
think-
think what a zombie is. Do you think she knows?
I'm gonna come to Canada and just shoot you.
I mean, Florida, that's going to be the center of the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, I'll be safe. Please don't come to Canada.
Oh, Christine, if the apocalypse comes, I am going to go. Like, I will be like, hey, Christine, you got room in your basement still.
I'd be like, you got 8 hours before I have to put the dogs and I on a boat and disappear from polite society. All right, if you're here, you're here.
Wait. You can put them on the boat, and if you can get the boat to me, I'm by the water, so like I can manage to survive that.
I'm not going south, you dummy.
You're going to the North Pole.
I'm going up there.
Zombies don't do cold.
Honestly, you really don't want to be on water with zombies either.
No.
Anyways, so the way we're gonna do general thoughts first, because that's what we do, and then we'll get into some spoilery thoughts. We will try and remember to warn you before we get into spoilers, but I just want to know, like, what did everyone rate this?
4.5.
I don't know.
Reed, what do you mean?
I haven't decided yet.
You haven't decided. What are you going between?
I'm probably somewhere between like a 3 and a 4.
So choose
The
4.
ending
see
is
that.
what
I
really
can
bumped
see
it up
that.
for me. Like it was
Like-
kind of a 3. Like it was just kind of like it wasn't bad. I wasn't like disliking anything. It was just kind of like, okay, we're here, we're doing things. But then like the ending really kind of like tied it together a little bit more in a way that it was like, okay, we're going to go more places in the second half of this.
Yeah.
So
It was
when
a
we get
lot
to the
of-
second book, then it'll, you know,
Yeah.
I think it'll
Way
like
longer.
make me like,
Than it needed to be.
you know, so
I
I'm
also
kind
did
of,
that.
that's where I'm kind of at. And I think part of it too is because I like really slammed through all this in 2 days. Well, actually,
Yeah.
less than 2 days, in like maybe 36 hours, maybe. So it was like a very short time period too. So it like I didn't really have time for anything to marinate.
Yeah.
So there's
There
also that.
There are definitely my two main thoughts. I mean, I really enjoyed it because obviously it's like a hate to love. There was a little bit of angst. I was enjoying it. I don't think we got as much of the angst as we will be getting in the next video, in the
Agreed.
next book, because
have
I think
that
they were
book.
setting up for them to do that. But like my two main critiques were, you could tell it was a debut, not in a bad way for the most part. There were little things that I was like, yeah, like a seasoned author would not have done this, or they could have used a little bit more editing, and then it could have been.
Yeah.
I have a feeling we could have done both of these books. Hello, we're waving at Christine's camera. Okay. I have a feeling we could have done both of these books in one, honestly. I have to read the second book to see, but I feel like we could have done both of them in one. Because there was just a lot of like filler, it felt like, in this.
Well, we haven't read the second one, so I guess I'll find out for us when I read it. Because
Cool.
Neck Alley November, bitches, and I have it.
Nice. Sure.
It came out today, I think.
Oh shit. Okay, well I have it on Neck Alley.
Yeah.
I think
Cool,
I do
cool,
too,
cool.
but I'm not in the headspace to read another one.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah. Okay. What were our any other kind of initial thoughts that we want to talk about?
I
Christine.
feel like it both did the Romeo and Juliet like beat for beat, and also wasn't angsty enough.
So it's been a while since I've read Romeo and Juliet. There were parts of the story in there, but
Like they
I
didn't
think,
even
like,
really change the name.
she's changed. Well, I don't think she wanted to. She's changing things up just a little bit, but I'm still worried.
Yeah.
So, Christine,
think
what were
that-
you going to say? Since
So first of all, I think it is appropriate that it isn't beat for beat like Romeo and Juliet.
yeah,
For several reasons. The first one is Romeo and Juliet are 14, and I do not want to read books about 14-year-olds. So they made them 18, which is a good consensual age. And then if you make them make the same decisions as Romeo and Juliet, then you have to say, did these 18-year-olds get a really bad concussion several times? So
that's the thing. I feel like it
Christine,
was too much of a Romeo and Juliet retelling.
Christine, you have to. Hamlet is also probably over 18, and he also seems to have gotten multiple concussions in the course
Hamlet
of
was
the film.
just dumb, okay?
But I'm saying Chloe Gong and Shakespeare inhabit different worlds and are writing from different time periods, and her characters are more educated than fucking fucker would have been.
Well, yeah.
Then Romeo and so my favorite Romeo and Juliet fact is that the audience watching it at the time would have thought it was a comedy right up until the end because of the way the acts are structured.
Yeah, exactly, right? So I think that trying to make it serious and also verbatim Romeo and Juliet would have been silly. So I like the differences. But particularly,
go ahead.
My goodness.
I'm sorry, was that me or someone else?
Particularly, I like what we've done with the main hose that surround the main hose. I
love the way you say things, Christine.
I am very fond of the Mercutio Benvolio recreation there. That was... I like Kathleen. I can't figure out who that was in the book. The play. That's not a book. Let's not call it that. And then
the messenger.
I'm not sure why Rosalind and Kathleen couldn't have been one person, to be honest, because Rosalind was boring as shit. But
Rosalind really didn't do anything, but that's getting into spoilers.
But Kathleen was great. Benvolio and Mercutio were great. And hey, look, didn't get stabbed accidentally in the middle of a park. That's great. So
I think what Chloe Gong liked about Romeo and Juliet was that two families that are at war in this city part, and she took that part and decided to do what she wanted to do with it. I don't think she's trying to create a faithful recreation of Romeo and Juliet. I think she was just like, I like the idea of two people who were in love, thinking they hate each other, and then falling back in love again.
And it takes place during the Red Scare, which is a period in history where people were so divided along ideological and ethnic lines like that, with the communism on the rise, especially in China. So I thought it was just like, she took her setting that she obviously did a fuck ton of research on getting it right in the historical moment, and she ran with that
and did a good job.
And there were plot. I didn't give it 5 stars because there were plot things. You're right. It could have been a lot shorter. It could, but I think that where she nailed it was the world she created for sure.
Yeah.
I love when you speak historian, Christine.
I think
I want to hear about historical anachronisms.
I think we're getting into spoiler territory here. So if you have not read the book, peace out, goodbye, go away. You've seen everything important except for our thoughts for the rest. So come back and watch those when you have read the book.
Oh, Michelle, don't fuck off. I wasn't talking to you.
Anyways, if you are still here and you haven't read the book, you are consenting to spoilers. That's all I'm going to say.
It's not like I'm going to remember
now or forever hold your pee.
I mean, I am doing that right now, but that's okay.
Because I literally for the I didn't finish the book for the Lord of the Rings, and they were talking about it, and I was like, I'm not gonna remember any of this. Did I remember any of it?
I mean, there are so many names in Lord of the Rings. If you don't have someone writing stuff down, you're not taking notes as you go, you'll be fine.
Just watch the director's cut of the movie and you'll be fine. You'll get the same context.
Excuse me. It is the extended edition, not the director's cut. We're not talking about Zack Snyder here.
Whatever.
Honestly, I only just like him because of his fans.
Fair.
Christine? I feel like you're going to show us
Look
another
at this
puppy.
distinguished gentleman.
Zhiranje Zhao posted fan art. They always post fan art of made about Iron Widow, and the one they posted was just so cute.
All right, if you want cute fan art, go to Christine's Twitter. Okay, so
So
thoughts about the book that are spoilery.
I
He didn't die.
personally-
Yet.
Yeah,
My
right.
baby.
I'm so
Wait,
stressed.
I'm sure it will
Yeah.
still happen. There's no way you can call it a Romeo and Juliet retelling, and that
I
not
know.
Yeah.
And they better not die.
And the optimist
They
is
don't,
out.
they don't die.
The optimist is out.
I really enjoyed the changing it to be like a gang thing
Yeah.
and making it like this 20s gang in Shanghai. Like that is such a vibe in and of itself. That she's not even done. I love it.
I
But
love
like
how I'm the one that's like, if the main couple dies, I am going to set it on fire, and yet I am still like calmer about this than Christine is being at the moment.
yeah, like I feel like the hate. Oh my gosh.
If you're listening to this and you're not looking at your screen, Christine just changed
Oh my gosh, stop!
her username to what's it called? Fuck you, two Mags, and then Cuccio forever. I don't think those are the two that's gonna die, Christine.
No, I don't think those are.
It's gonna be Roma and Juliet.
Yeah.
If people die, it will be one of them, and it's going to make me mad.
I have to say though, like the hate to love of this was not annoying, which sometimes to me is annoying. But like in this context, it felt like natural, but not overly forced, because they had like that natural pull towards each other, but it wasn't like overly done in either direction. Like they were still kind of apathetic to each other in some ways.
They
like
were
not-
trying so hard not to
Yeah.
be into each other in places, and I'm just like, oh,
Right.
you poor baby.
Right.
I
It was like
wanted more of it. Like that was
Yeah.
the thing.
see for
I
me
get
it's kind of
that.
the opposite. Like I enjoyed the fact that it wasn't too much.
Yeah, I feel like
So,
the way the
that's
plot went, I
for
don't
me.
think there's a way that you would have been able to do this plot, like the plot that's in the first book, without having with them being
No,
like there are reasons they're separated for most of the book.
I get that, but like at the end of the book, I really don't care if they're together or not.
Yeah. True, that is true. I was just sitting there like when I thought they were in the middle of the street, honestly, when they have that kiss at the end of the book, and I'm just like, why are you kissing now? Where everyone can see you dumbasses.
Yeah,
You just this year
there.
have proven your old slogan false.
I don't understand what's going on here.
That's twice this year that you've been like, why are they kissing?
Right?
Like, I wanted them to be kissing. I was just like, why are you kissing there? And then I figured out it was behind the building. I was like, oh, okay, fine.
If you needed
Like-
another sign that it's the end times, it's that Mags has said that twice.
Clearly, I just needed to be a well set up kiss scene. What? No, Christine.
It caught on! Somebody else is using it! Naturally, without being forced. It came out of Bree's mouth like that was the only name she knew you by.
You're just gonna have to go by it now.
It's canon now.
It's canon.
Anyways, back to the book.
The fandom agrees.
Okay. Back to the book. Anyways, yeah, it apparently there are ways you can write kiss scenes that I'm just like, why? Like I've definitely thought that with when it's like not my ship and I feel like something's forced, but not when it's my ship.
Okay, Mags.
Anyways,
No, I
what
wonder
are
if,
thoughts?
like, I'm sure that we'll get more of that relationship in the second book.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that like maybe this is a book that could have been a standalone if we
Yes.
cut off like half of the first half
Mm-hmm.
and just made it one book.
There was a lot of just like going back and forth, trying to figure things out and things not happening. And like most of those things could have happened in like a quarter of the time.
Right.
Speaking of which, Christine, I think Kathleen is the messenger. Based on, because like there I think in what's it called Romeo and Juliet, there's a messenger that does do messages between them or something, so I think that's who Kathleen is.
So
not entirely sure. It's been a
Okay.
long time since I've read
Yeah.
Romeo and Juliet, and I refuse to read it again.
well, yeah, that's fair. Also, because really, if we're going to enjoy Shakespeare, we should just fucking watch it and stop reading it all the damn time.
Yes.
But
Shakespeare is not meant to be read.
it's literally so good and different on stage. Like, it's no King Lear. So we should do that though for King Lear. Never mind. But that makes sense because she's doing all this stuff. But I was trying to think like, because she's a triplet, and I was like, was there fucking triplets? Like, I could not remember
No.
what this was supposed to be. But then I kind of also like the idea that Chloe Gong would be like, you know who this book fucking needs? Kathleen.
Okay, so the sibling swap in France was 3 sisters went to France. We had the original Kathleen, we had Rosalind, we had Celia.
But Celia
then-
was assigned male at birth.
Yes, and Kathleen died, and Celia came back as Kathleen, because Dad was willing to let her come back as Kathleen.
As long as they didn't actually, like, nobody actually
knew.
Very
So they said the brother died, and then Kathleen came back as Kathleen. So,
which is so fucking sad.
It is.
Like, oh,
But unfortunately, probably historically accurate.
Historically
you have to
accurate.
think
I
about
think.
that kind of thing, yeah.
I mean, I think that from what I've read, I think it like a lot of like nobody's pretending like the past life existed, so they don't have to worry about people like dealing with that part. I have a feeling there are a lot of people who would like to be able to just come back and start in their people's lives again as who they are.
But think about that though. You can't actually mourn the sister who died
the
because
actual
you
sibling
have
that
to
died.
inhabit her life and then
Yeah.
be stealth about one of the biggest parts of your life.
Right.
Yeah, but there was no way that was going to be an out secret in 1920.
No.
Right.
Specifically not China.
I have to say that I feel like if we swapped some of the plot stuff where it could have been shortened and like filled it a little bit more with like descriptions of like settings and clothing and stuff like that, that would have been really enjoyable in this setting. To have some more description of what we would be like, some visualization and that kind of thing. I feel like I would have enjoyed getting more of that and less of the the lull in between things happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought, that lull is the thing. Like, and it was so funny because there were clearly moments where Chloe Gong was going, how do I get Roma and Juliet to be together and be like have to be in a situation working together? Like,
When they
just
would
want-
naturally
what trope do I want to use this chapter? And I was just like, I respect that.
The other thing I kind of noticed about it, which I've been noticing about YA books a decent amount lately, and it's kind of something that's irking me now, and it's probably like a really natural way to write when you're writing characters' backstories that aren't on screen, but they remember the same shit over and over and over again. And I get that, like, that is how humans' memories work, but like when you're writing, we only need to observe them remembering it one time.
Yeah.
Maybe twice.
I was about to say maybe like a second time if you like.
If they are
reflect
flashing
back
back
to the
to
previous
it,
one,
it needs to
yeah.
have a plot or character reason in that moment.
We don't have to think about our breakup you don't have to remind the
Everything,
reader that they have a past together every time we see them together.
Yeah.
We got that the first time. And so that's one area where I was like, yes, no, we get it. You're both feeling very angsty.
Yeah, and I feel like that's a very young writer choice to make as
you
well.
have to
Is, like,
switch
you
that
forget,
up. It
you
needs to
forget
be-
as a writer that
Yeah.
the reader is with you. They're following you. They're
Mhm.
just as intelligent as you are, and they're staying on the page,
Yeah.
and you don't have to
Right.
try to keep
And you
them
can
on the
show
page.
me how
They're good. They
uncomfortable
got
they
it.
are with each other without having to explain why every single time.
Or
Right.
conversely, how comfortable they are with each other. I think you have to switch it up if you're gonna like what you're specifically talking about, Christine. Like, if they're going to be remembering their past relationship, it needs to be specific to the situation and it needs to be different every time.
Right, like, oh my God, we were in this restaurant together once. Not, remember when you bombed my compound?
For the 4th time.
Because yes, I do. I feel like I was there.
Ages ago.
Like if it's something that they are actively remembering a moment with the other person, like bring that up. But if you're just going to bring up the same thing over and over again and just not integral to the plot, don't do that.
Especially
because like there was that one time that she said something about like the way that she like laid her head against his chest or like in the crook of his neck or something, and it was like just like I used to, like that makes sense really and that feels natural. But like in other contexts, it's like you're not always thinking about the exact same thing all the time.
Or you are, but it's third person, so we don't need to fucking know.
Yeah. Right.
Well, and I think it was probably more prevalent because we all kind of binge read this over a period of 24, 48 hours.
We did.
I read mine over about a week.
The rest of us did that.
Yeah. I started it last Sunday or last Saturday.
Yeah, I listened to it in like 2.5 days at work.
I think mine was like in maybe 3 days.
Yeah.
So like maybe that's why it was even more because we're like, yeah, I know we just went over that.
Oh my God, they used to be together. Tell me again.
It's like with a TV show. Like there are things that will repeat in episodes, and when you binge watch the entire season, it's like I didn't need to hear that 4 times in the last 6 hours.
Yeah, and that's why having the skip the recap option now on streaming services is so much better.
Well, like it's just like there's stuff that's going to be repeated in every episode because they have to approach every episode. It happens with fan fiction as well. You approach it like that's the first time some people are coming into it, so you're going to repeat certain things.
Yeah, but in the middle of the book, it's not.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
like that isn't even an issue.
Like you see that you see that happen in fanfic all the time, and I will do it specifically when I write fanfic because I know it's been a week or a month or a year since the last chapter. So
I just
that way they don't have to reread the whole thing.
Because I think when you think about like TV shows and stuff, each episode, like a book is kind of like an episode. They don't need
a book is more like a movie than it is a TV show.
Yeah, so like reflect on what happened in the next book. Be like, remember?
Yeah, which is why
I has a deathly fear of donkeys because of the one time she got trampled to death and then was resurrected. Remember that? Oh yeah, that was so weird. Yeah, continue.
I love sequels that do a recap at the beginning of a book.
Yeah,
whether it's in conversation or it's like a page of like, here's the cliff notes of the last book so that you don't have to reread the entire series.
Because I did publish it 1.5 years ago.
Yeah.
That is one of the things that I have like a running list of things that I'm working on every time I think of something that I'm like, dear publishers, please do this from now on.
I'm just saying that.
And that is one of them.
Or like they'll post like recaps on their blogs and things like that. I've seen that happen too.
You can find it more easily.
Because especially with some epic fantasies too, it's like I do not want to have to reread the whole series every time a book comes out because this is a 500+ page book.
Right. In the defense of Brandon Sanderson, there are entire YouTube channels dedicated to recapping his books.
Right, but not every author has his level of
But
like for him, he can get away with it.
Throne of Glass, when the last one for that one came out, people were rereading like all 6 books before.
You shouldn't have to do that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If you want to, all power to you, but
right, it should be a choice
because I like rereading stuff.
I'm a busy mother with my 2 children.
Okay,
Christine.
Thank you.
Guys. Okay. Any other? Yes.
Cassie's done her heat now, right? And she has the most beautiful new baby nipples.
Aww.
They're like lady nipples. Do you want to see them?
No.
Things that are said on Margaret's channel when Christine is here. You should just compile things
a bingo board
that she says, like a whole video of things that she says.
We
just
need a bingo board for what
streams.
things that Christine says.
They're beautiful baby nipples.
You could show them to me, Christine.
Thank you, Cassie.
I support you.
Anyways, any other thoughts about the book? Because we should probably start winding down now because I know a lot of us have places to be. Work tomorrow.
I am gonna decide my rating at some point,
Mhm.
and I am gonna read the second book. After the ending, I decided I was gonna. Towards the end, I decided I wanted to read the second one.
Aw. Look at the distinguished lady.
I have a feeling she doesn't feel like a distinguished lady right now. She's like, stop. Like, look at
So much is happening.
Oh my goodness.
You see it?
They are wonderful.
Isn't it beautiful?
It's beautiful.
It's such a good nipple, baby. You did such a good job.
I agree.
Yes.
I kind of would have been okay
Let's
if
do
this had
it.
just been a Romeo and like they had I like the paranormal aspect, but I don't feel like it added much to the story.
No, you could have done a like a historically accurate
It
kind of
was
setting.
solely because there needed to be something to force them to work together. And
It
I
could have
don't
been
think
a
there
communist plot.
I don't think there could have been anything like in world, like normal in history that would have made these two rival factions work
It
together.
almost feels
So
like
I
a
get it, but at the
historical
same time.
magical realism to me.
Yeah.
Instead of being like historical fantasy, it's like
Mhm.
historical magical realism.
It's historic urban fantasy is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not magical realism. But yeah, it's like a historical urban fantasy because it takes place in the city.
That makes sense.
Okay. Any other thoughts?
My rib cage hurts.
I feel like we may end up following that more in the next one.
I hope so.
So
Not that the head lice that kill you weren't the most
Terrifying?
unconscionable thing I've ever read.
yes.
Dude, oh
That's
man.
that
I
was
wanted to know
she
I
did a
wanted
good
to
job
know
of
how
making
they
that
were-
freaky.
how they were getting
I
through
love
the
it.
skull.
It
Yeah,
was-
I don't want to think about that too much.
yeah, I didn't want to think about that.
The fact
It
that they
was-
could see them and yet they could do that.
Michelle's
like-
reaction, like, do I want to read this after all? Maybe fucking
Like,
not.
there are a whole bunch of people now walking around Shanghai with holes in their brain.
Yeah, man. Let's be real. That
I-
sister should not have recovered.
should
He
not
have
be
walked around like
There was
brand
some
new.
weird moments though when they were talking like how like terrified they were of the vaccine, and I was like, this is hitting a little too close to home. And there are some people that should not read this.
That's hard though too, because that's like a thing actually though, you know.
Well, I know, but it's
Yeah.
just like it was just weird.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I
no, I
get it.
get
Like
you.
it's historically accurate, and the fact that people of color usually are scared of medicine because
Western
the government
medicine,
does. But like I just hear all the Karens in my head also.
Yeah.
saying the
It's
same
like
thing.
just how much safer the COVID
Oh, yeah.
mRNA vaccine is compared to like any other vaccine we've ever had. So it's just like
But no, seriously, like when
But it would
the
just, like,
the
pop up,
vaccine
like, the
first came
symptoms would
out,
come
there
up,
were
and
so
I'm like,
many of my
"Oh."
relatives that were like had adverse effects or like
Right.
were scared of it.
Yeah.
Like didn't want to be experimented on by the government, by the white man. So like
Right,
there
'cause
was
that
so
actually
much of
happened.
that
Yeah.
just like
Right.
in there. And I was like, I don't want to die.
I had a
So,
patient today
sticky,
that
man.
her mom got blood clots. And the doctor's like, I think that may have been the vaccine, so you shouldn't get the booster. Like, but it was like an actual like
So that's a good reason. though.
Doctor.
But that's a good reason for us to get the vaccine so that she's
It's like
okay.
Andy.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So like anyways, like they're like we think you had an adverse reaction, so you should not.
You are the 6 in a million that
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, no, but like
6 in a
before when
million,
it had,
but,
like the first smallpox vaccines, like you got sick, my dude. So like
The first smallpox, so the way the first smallpox vaccine is, it
She's
used to
telling
be
me.
it
Yeah,
2/3
go
of the people who got
Tell me.
smallpox would die. The vaccine, when they have developed the vaccine, people still died, but it went down to 1/3. The first smallpox vaccine. So it was like you still might die, but you're less likely. So, all right. Any other thoughts? Anything we're doing on our channels this month?
Indigathon and
Yes,
your
true.
guys' readathon.
NetGalley November.
November.
Yes.
Not to
I
be
knew there was a
confused with
name.
the
I knew
other
it had
NetGalley
NetGalley in it,
November.
but I was like,
Michelle,
Yeah.
Margaret and I found what I thought would be the most brilliant crossover book because it's a nonfiction arc about decolonizing data, and it's about Indigenous health in Canada. So I was like, sick.
And
I
it's
started
by an
reading through it.
Indigenous author.
No, it is not.
It's not?
Nope.
She makes it
Nope.
seem like it is on her
Nope.
profile.
She goes
Oh my
into
God.
a whole section. She is white and Indian. She's biracial.
Okay.
This is a good. I've
Yeah.
only read like one page, but it's cool because it has like a little like art thing.
Oh,
and
I
then
love that.
The info.
That's really cool.
This is what I'm reading for
pretty art.
nonfiction.
Nice. That's
Nice.
awesome.
I'm reading. Hold on. Where is it? So, what they did not explain, because he has an actual academic book that he wrote, but then he also condensed it to be a children's book. It's about it's about Wounded Knee in 1973. So that's going to be my nonfiction.
And who wrote that?
It was written by Troy R. Johnson. He's a Seminole writer.
Can we highlight the last comment, please? I really appreciate it.
Are you talking about when Christine corrected me or when I was going off about smallpox?
Smallpox.
I love it.
Because I start talking about my historical background in medicine, which is the only public paper I've ever got published was about historical medicine. And you're like, the first, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, no, okay, I'm learning. okay,
You
sure.
had to explain.
You let me know what went on.
It's a really interesting fact because it's one of those things that, like, the reason that I know that is because one of the podcasts I did, they went into the history of the anti-vax movement, and it actually traces all the way back to that vaccine.
But to be the first successful smallpox vaccine was injecting someone with cowpox. So it was a live and active virus that humans couldn't actually get that sick from.
Yeah.
So,
was it injecting, or I thought they just like smeared it on them or something?
It was so they would.
Oh yeah, they would cut you open.
What's the word?
That's nice.
But yeah, so it's what we have today in comparison isn't the same, nearly
much
the
better
same process, and is so much fucking safer. So it's like, yeah, it's different.
Yeah.
But
true
but
fact.
I'm gonna go to Margaret's medical history class.
No, I am simply like, the class you go to for me is random facts that I have learned and find cool.
Can she cite them? No.
Margaret's random fact.
Or something about costumes and makeup.
Yes, that too. I could give you the link to the podcast, Christine, if I could figure out which one it was.
The struggles?
Peer review.
Like that's the one I haven't been able to find that episode because it's about, like, it starts out with anti-vax and then it goes into Andrew Wakefield. So we have Indigathon happening on Michelle's channel. There we go. Brianna is doing NetGalley November.
Well, we all.
Three of us are.
Happy.
The top row. And then, am I doing anything else this month? I don't think so.
I still haven't even made my editorial calendar.
I haven't made my bullet journal.
Whether or not I stick to it.
I know I'm gonna have some recent reads videos going up though, because I have like 3 or 4 of them filmed. So you're gonna see some of those, some of what I've read for some of these character boards. But otherwise, I haven't decided yet. So if anyone has a suggestion, go for it, because I haven't made a plan. I don't even have a plot.
I mean, you could do a video series on things that we think publishers should have in their books.
Yeah, I do have that list started. I should make that video. Maybe I'll do that.
Make it all.
I had an idea
Maybe
for a
that'll be
series
my
giving book recommendations to my friend, but I don't know if I'm going to do that yet. So, all right. So everyone is linked down below. If you want to check out their channels, you should check out their channels. But if you haven't checked them out and you would like to, you can go into the description box, check everybody out. And any last thoughts?
I can't wait to read November's book.
Yes.
Oh,
Same.
I'm so excited. Like, just the first chapter, I was like, oh, this is good.
It's gonna be
all right. So I will see you later then when we will talk about more wordy, nerdy things. Until next